I never asked you this question, why Reach?
I see Reach as a forum where people who are leaders in their own right come together across disciplines to collaborate and answer those questions. And so rather than looking at, hey, how can this intervention, support 80% of the population, we look at, well, what about the remaining 5%, right? If we're at 95, how do we reach the hardest to reach? The way I approach leadership is, that phrase we spoke about, is every day is game day. And what that means to me is that you have to show up every day ready to execute at the highest level, ready to perform and ready to learn and be flexible.
The coaching helps and supports each researcher at the point where they meet the material. So, for instance, if we're speaking about how to give and receive feedback, which is one of the best practices that we try to develop with researchers, everyone's going to have a different experience and a different starting point with how they deliver and receive feedback. We do some facilitation, but then the coaches can work more one-on-one with folks to help them to discover a little bit more about, how do I give and receive feedback, and how do I do it well? What are the things I'm good at, and where do I struggle with it, and how do I want to get better at it, and why do I want to get better at it? And then the researcher and the coach can start to build a plan of how that person will get better at it, and they co-create that. And then the coach is there along with the team to support the development and the leveling up of that skill. So I think that's probably a pretty good example of how the coaching and the leadership development work together to support researchers to become the best at getting better in different aspects of their leadership journey.
Reach puts a lot of high-performing students and researchers together to form a team, but that's not enough, right? It's not enough to produce at the highest level, and so it's understanding the details, understanding why the frameworks matter, how to individually have that self-awareness and that reflection as to what are my skills, what are my gaps, and how can I improve upon them. But it's also as a group, what are our skills, what are our gaps, and how can we work together to fill in those gaps. And so understanding the detail that comes into that, how do we prepare for meetings, how do we go through the meetings, and how do we debrief after the meetings, understanding my role as a leader in a team of leaders, right?
Leadership is a full contact sport, and it requires getting your hands dirty and trying things and having mistakes, right? We take it and maybe we have a miss, and learning from those mistakes, and coming back again with, okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't, this is what we could do differently next time. Also getting some feedback from the environment, maybe through assessments or surveys or people on your team who are giving you anecdotal feedback, and then giving it another go. And then the last piece around it is grit, right? We need some resilience for anytime we're going to step out of our comfort zone. So anytime we have that desire to get better, and that requires us to add on some new skills and develop our skills, we have to get out of our comfort zone. We have to, get comfortable with discomfort. And grit is not about this toughness of I'm unbreakable. Grit is about the awareness and the vulnerability to ask for help and to admit that, that didn't go the way that I'd hoped that it would go, and to ask yourself first, what can I do different to support us to be better? One, what have been some of the challenges that you've had to navigate? And two, what did you learn about yourself?
Over a year of work that you have to condense and explain in, you don't have a year to explain it. So that's definitely a challenge, and that's something that you learn from. But I think another challenge that I've faced this year, and it's a challenge as well as an opportunity, and to answer your question about what I learned is, being in different leadership scenarios, with the Reach Alliance, with the Black Career Conference, and being part of the Monk School, having first and second year students that I mentor, it's that as a leader you have to be flexible and adaptable, and understand that it's not just, leadership is not one thing. A leadership style is not something that's static. It has to be adaptable, but the foundation still needs to be strong. And so it's about having that adaptability and that flexibility, and being able to come in and be versatile and embrace that ambiguity that we spoke of, and still be a leader, still be able to understand who's on your team, what the task is, and how to maximize everybody's talents, and how to push everyone forward. So so that the deliverable is at the highest level and of the highest outcome possible.